Hey everybody, this is Renee Hughes, the aroma specialist, and today I'm going to talk to you about chemicals and essential oils. So I get the question, I want to make sure that my essential oils are 100% pure and there's no chemicals in them. So the question is, how do you make sure that there's no chemicals in your essential oils? I think you're going to be surprised with the answer. Coming up next. Okay, so you ready for it? Chemicals and essential oils. So I get the question, how do I make sure that my essential oils don't have any chemicals in it? And so it's an interesting question. And I said you might be surprised with the answer for a couple of reasons. So let's break this down. The first thing that I wanted to bring to your attention is that essential oils are chemicals. So that might be interesting for you. Maybe you already knew that, or maybe you're thinking, well, no, I want an all natural, 100% pure, plant-based essential oils, and that's not going to be a chemical. Well, let me give you a comparison. What do you see here? That is a glass of water. All right. So, but if I say to you, this is a glass of H2O, do you now all of a sudden feel like, oh, the water's full of chemicals? No, because everybody knows that water is the chemical name is H2O. So it's the same thing with essential oils. When you hear or maybe you see something that says linalool or acetate or all these different names or constituents inside the oils, don't panic. We've been kind of conditioned to say, if you can't read the name, don't take it into your body because it's a chemical. The thing is, everything around us is made up of chemicals. We're made up of chemicals, molecules and atoms and constituents and parts. We're made very similarly to the plants. Plants, animals, and humans have a lot of the same makeup, a lot of the same makeup, constituents, genetics put together similarly, which makes sense. So that being the case, that's the first thing I really want you to be clear on, because I don't want you to read something on a website or maybe even here as I'm doing some education for you guys that says that, has a name, like maybe you're looking at lavender and you just want a really pure lavender, and maybe you hear me talk about linalool. Well, linalool is a constituent inside of lavender that's actually responsible for its really soothing effect. Or I might be talking about clove bud and we talk about eugenol. Or we may talk about 1,8-cineol in eucalyptus and spike lavender. So when you hear those terms, don't think, oh, my oil is adulterated. It is the oil. These are the names of the constituents inside the oil. And yes, they are made up of chemicals. Here's the reason, too, that you're going to hear, if you've been watching my channel, you have heard, there's sometimes you need to be careful between when you're taking a drug and an essential oil. You don't want a conflict there. Okay, most of the time there's not a conflict, but there are some oils where there could be. It could cause a drug to act more or less than it's supposed to. There are other safety considerations, and so that's why I take my job so seriously, to empower you guys with essential oils, to make sure you really are getting the full power of essential oils, but that you're doing it safely and effectively. It should be something that's a beautiful addition to your body to help to balance it and not harm it. And in order to do that, we want to balance things properly. And anytime you're dealing with chemistry, you need to know what blends to use, how to use them properly, how much to use, and that type of thing. So that applies to your essential oil. Now, when you're looking to get 100% pure essential oils, usually what people are really saying is, have my oils been adulterated? How do I know if they've been messed with, adulterated? That's a different question. But I wanted to clarify. Even sometimes you might hear me say, oh, you want to be chemical free. Really, it's toxin free, unadulterated, wild harvested, pure organic oils is what you want. So here are some tips on how to make sure that you get that in your oils. You first want to look for oils that have been GC-MS tested. What does that mean? It's gas chromatography mass spectrometry. And what that does, it's a test that basically goes through that bottle of oil and lets you know exactly what the constituents are in there. Now, if you were to see a report of a GCMS report, you're probably not going to understand it. But it's enough for you to know that your company, the company that you're using, they have been GCMS tested and they've passed those tests. That lets you know that if nothing else, you're getting exactly what is said is in that bottle. Because the truth is, many essential oil companies, they are adulterating their oils, their fillers. So a lot of times, especially this is the case when people are making their own oils at home, or they are, some of the smaller companies, sometimes you'll see this, and even some larger companies, where a person will have some plant-based substance in there, but it's lots of fillers in there. Maybe it's full of the carrier oil. Carrier oils are great and they have their place. You have videos here talking about that, so I'm not going to get into that today. But you don't want to pick up a bottle of oil thinking that it's 100% pure essential oil, and it may say on there aromatherapy, and it may not really be from an aromatherapist, or it may say 100% pure essential oils. It's legal, unfortunately, to say that, even if it's full of fillers. So in order to get past that, you want to make sure that the oil that you're purchasing has been GCMS tested. That is your first line of defense. Your next line of defense is to get to know the distiller, the farms, where the company that they're selling you the oil. Where did the plants come from? If a person is making the oil themselves, what's their process? How are they getting the oil from the plant into the bottle? And dig into that, research that to see, because there are certain ways that it needs to be distilled, and we'll talk about that on another video, in order to get the maximum benefit. So what's happening from the time that your plant goes into the ground to the time that it goes into the bottle? When you understand that process with your particular company, you're going to be a lot more comfortable that you're getting an oil that is toxic free. Not necessarily chemical free, but toxic free, no fillers, not adulterated, a pure bottle of oil that is going to be potent and powerful and affect your life. So make sure as you're following my recipes, as you're listening to the education here, that your oil matches those criteria. Here's the last thing, and I want you guys to comment about the oils that you use, your favorite company, why you love it. Go ahead and post that so that people can see the different varieties of companies out there. And just when you go to choose, just make sure that you're understanding that entire process and not just go by word of mouth. The last thing I want to say is that there really is no best. So a lot of people say, well, this is the best oil, this is the best company, don't use anything else. And the truth of the matter is, again, we're talking about what's in nature, what's in creation. So these plants, whether you're talking about spike lavender or lavandula angustifolia, or you're talking about Thymus vulgaris, or we're talking about clove bud, we could be talking about any of those different plants. The thing that makes one oil superior over another is really where it was grown, how it was grown, the planting process, the reaping process, the distilling process. Those things make it one oil superior over the other. What was the climate like? Is your company one that will bottle the oil no matter if they had a bad harvest or not? There are some companies which I really highly respect. If their farm, if their crop is not at the highest standard, and they go to do the GCMS testing and Flashpoint and all these other testing that they do, and they find that it's not up to par, they will lose revenue because they won't bottle it and they won't put it out. Those are the kind of companies that you want to look for, because they are going to be at a higher caliber. They're really concerned about your health and not just the dollar. So let's put it out there. A lot of MLM companies are said to only be in it for the money, but I found that not to be true. There are a lot of companies out there, especially the two well-known MLM companies, that are both very concerned about having high quality oils. So don't readily turn away from those oils just because they're MLM. On the other side of it, don't readily turn away a small company just because they're a small company. Really, no matter which oil you use, find out those things. Get the GCMS testing, make sure that it's been tested and passed. Make sure that you understand the process from that company. from the time it's gone into the ground until the time it's in your bottle. And once you're satisfied with those things, find somebody you love working with and go and grab your oils. And then come back here so we can do some recipes together. I hope this was helpful. Please like, comment, and share. I really want to know what you guys are thinking. I want to know what oils you use. I want to know if this is helpful for you. And we really want to get the word out about the Aroma Specialist. Essential oils education is really important. They have blown up all over the globe because of the power of essential oils. And now we just need to make sure that we're all educated really properly from reputable sources so that we are really helping one another over the long haul and not over the long haul seeing some negative results just because we weren't understanding the chemistry behind what we're using and how to use it. Okay, like, subscribe, and share, and thank you. Have a great rest of your day. See you on the next video.